Okay, so
Oh, wait. I'm not part of this group.
Well, you certainly can join us. We'd love to have you.
No, there's a rule. I know there's a rule.
okay, we ready, Melissa?
Yes, ready.
Okay, thank you very much. Apologize to my colleagues and everyone out there being a little tardy. It's the beauty of commuting and traffic. I apologize for that. We'll open this meeting, call it to order, a public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the committee's jurisdiction. Is there anyone that would like to speak to the policy committee?
No speakers this evening.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for consent.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, please call the roll.
Director Scheidegger,
Aye.
Barnes,
Aye.
and Gould.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. First action item is election of officers. We'll elect a chair and a vice chair for the policy committee. I think it's wise that I serve in neither position, given my current position at the board. So that's kind of been a standard in the past. So with that, I'll let you two argue.
No argument necessary.
Want to be chair and let him be vice for a while?
That's fine.
All right, then why don't you make a recommendation to make him the chair, and then he'll make a recommendation to make you the vice chair, and we'll vote one time and call her good.
First time doing this. So
That's okay, just make a motion to nominate Director Scheidegger as the presiding authority or the chair of the policy committee.
Okay, I make a motion to nominate Director Scheidegger as the chairman of the policy committee.
And I move that, well,
I'll second that motion, then
Okay.
you go,
that I will move for Director Barnes to be the vice chair.
and I'll second that
policy.
motion. Can we vote on the first motion?
So we will take two separate votes.
Let's do that, why not, for kicks and
Okay.
giggles.
So the first motion, Director Scheidegger,
As chair.
Barnes,
Aye.
and Director Gould.
Aye.
Motion passes. And the second motion to elect Director Barnes as vice chair,
Aye.
and Director Barnes,
Aye.
and Director Gould.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Excellent. That takes care of action item number one. Action item number two is the family medical leave policy. The recommendation is consider revisions of that policy and refer it to the full board. And you do not look like Chief Holbrook.
Good evening, directors. I'm Melissa Maddox, the
Wave.
HR manager
Okay?
with Metro Fire. As you see before you, we have a couple updates, I'd say, to the FMLA policy and the military leave policy. If you'd like, I could go over the changes one by one.
What's the pleasure of this group? I know that I've read it, and we have been with this two policies for nearly a decade. So it seems like we've really beat this one up pretty good and relied on staff to ensure our compliance with federal and state regulations. And I know that we've done several iterations of this as you've changed, and those things have changed. So as I read it, I was completely comfortable with how it reads.
Mr. Chair, I too have read it, and I see no need to go over this. I think the changes are in line and make sense. I support them.
Okay?
Okay.
So I would move that we're going to, in essence, refer this to the full board. Is that
Correct. Your recommendation would be that we accept the policy as written today, and then we would move it to full board for action in a subsequent meeting.
Do you need a motion for that? A movement?
I want to
Yes, I'll
have you
take
have
a
a
motion
movement
for that.
anywhere, but that's.
You do need a motion?
We do need a motion.
I so move.
Oh, well, before we have a motion, but we haven't had it seconded, but Director Barnes, comments related to the first action item or the second one, the family medical FMLA?
None. Looks good.
Okay, so let's, I second that motion, so why don't we go ahead and call the roll and we'll move forward with that.
Director Scheidegger,
Aye.
Director Barnes,
Aye.
and Director Gould.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, I think you get to stay there, don't you? We're going to do one more, even though it says Holbrook, and I know that
Yes,
you're
I'm
not.
sorry. I was thinking we were doing them together.
That's okay. That's all right. Any questions? The next item that we have before the policy committee is the military leave of absence policy. We have spent, again, some time on this particular element, which is a subset of the family medical leave component. And I know that we have revised it and talked about it several times. I guess my only question to you is this particular medical leave absence policy, is really directed by some type of federal mandate, isn't it? From what I read and from what I know we've talked about in the past, that we really have a mandate relative to leave of our military personnel.
We do, and it follows the government codes in all those different sections, and it is, like you said, a subset of the FMLA policy. So we kind of outlined it from the government code.
The other question I had relative to this is how many of our current staff actually have taken advantage of this policy currently? Do we have any men or women that are currently serving under this policy?
Currently, we do have one, which actually prompted the update of the policy when we realized that, for instance, the payment of someone when they're on military leave and the 8%, when we had written the policy, the 8% wasn't enacted yet. So we thought we would make it clear that your health benefits would be paid, but minus the employee contribution.
Right.
And it came about because we do have one person out on active leave. So
Okay. As much as
it's
I'd
more
like
of a
to
training.
Right.
But I'm not a military person, so the difference between active leave and training, I guess, is kind of considered the same thing. So it's considered military leave
Right.
under the umbrella.
Right. Chief, did you want to weigh in on that?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I think that as long as they qualify under military leave, I think the parameters, that would be both overseas training, et cetera.
Active
Yeah.
duties, active duties.
I'd like to be associated with an organization that when our men and women are called to service in whatever form, we stand behind them with a policy. So frankly, I don't care if it's local, overseas, intergalactic, it doesn't matter. If they're being called to serve in our military when they're working for us, then I want to be part of an organization that has a very broad policy that supports them in that regard. We all know that they make big bucks in the military while working, right? Isn't that what we hear from soldiers?
Right.
Is they're overpaid and underworked? So I think, tongue-in-cheek, by the way, and I don't know if it's appropriate, but I'd certainly like to, if we can, identify that individual and thank them for their service. And I don't know if this is the appropriate time to do that or not. I don't want to violate any confidence issues, but, you know, it's pretty awesome that we do have staff that go out and serve our military and then come home and work for us and continue to work for us. So I'm very supportive of this particular policy and would like to see it move forward very quickly. Other comments from members of the board?
I thought it would look good.
I agree.
Do you need a motion?
We do.
For this? Okay, I move that we move this on to the full board for approval.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second on adopting the military leave of absence policy as it's currently written. Move it to the full board for action. Any further questions or comments?
None.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Scheidegger?
Aye.
Director Barnes?
Aye.
And Director Gould.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for all your hard work. I know that staying on top of all these, you know, is a lot of balls in the air, so to speak, and I know it's difficult sometimes as they change all these. And I'm glad to see these two get off the plate for us as a policy committee. So I guess at this point, the next item is agenda items for the next meeting. It's been the practice of the policy committee not to set a next date until administration comes before us and lets us know that they have some additional policies moving through the pathway. Can I get any sense from either of you before we turn the gavel over to our esteemed colleague, Director Scheidegger, for the next meeting? What's your sense of what's coming down the pipeline?
It is our intent to re-engage the policy committee on a litany of policies for probably the next at least 6 months.
Mr. Chair, did you hear that?
It doesn't matter if we do it every other meeting or whatever it is, but we literally have policies waiting in the wings to come before you.
Well, I would suggest that you try to schedule those in a way that we have somewhat of a means to make it manageable. You know, so why don't you feed them to us? Let us know. I'm sure this committee stands ready to serve your needs in terms of the speed at which we schedule those. So why don't you let us know when you're ready? And I think the policy committee has met the second Thursday of each month, right? When necessary.
Yeah, I think we meet only to be determined when there's a need to, but we don't have a set Thursday that we meet because I believe our budget and,
Finance is usually the first.
finance.
Yeah, the historical perspective on it, well, we used to do it once a month, second board meeting, and
That's
we
what I
were,
thought.
when we first entered into the revision and when we totally resorted all the policies.
Right.
What I'm hearing is that you have a number that would be coming forth over the next number of months, maybe two a month at a policy committee meeting. Yeah, 2 to 3, I mean, whatever the manageable, for you guys to read them and to actually be able to have the
Three
time to.
meetings a month, Chief?
No, just one meeting, the policy committee, because we stopped having a regularly scheduled meeting, to my recollection, because we ended up canceling it routinely and then we decided, why don't we schedule them when we have product to review? What I'm hearing, though, is at least next month's meeting, we should probably schedule tonight, and because there's product coming forth.
So let's plan to have it at the second Thursday in February. And then at that point, you could tell us if we'd be ready with a sufficient agenda for the second Thursday in March. How does that sound? Okay. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right, this meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.